a bit of a Disney binge watch recently, and I just finished um Black Widow, Luca, Raya and the Last Dragon, and Cruella, Luca as well. I don't know if I mentioned Luca or whatever. I guess we'll start off with Luca. It was very much the man who loved me from the sea or whatever. I forgot the name of that movie with the fish people from the sea. But I did like it's more of a I get the subtle tones, maybe the MC is most likely bisexual or something like that, and you know um it's all about how we perceive relationships, and I think that is such a great message, especially for me, and especially since uh, I finally ended my own personal demons. Finally, thank you. But yeah, I think that Luca is a really aesthetically pleasing movie, and what I mean by that is the animation is great, the scenes are great, and I really just enjoyed what was being shown to me. I do like the story. It is an interesting story for me, but it is literally a fish out of water story, but also it's not annoying to the point where you're like, just leave it be, but it's like, what if this were to really happen? And now in the political sphere, whatever you want to call it, now in the world of the state we are in, it's just crazy to see people not accepting people anymore. I don't really know. Like, people are like, oh, blah blah blah, this and that and this and that, and that's why I don't really want to have a religion, because it's just like, what's more important, your religion or your fellow man? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why the Buddha teaches us to always look for truth. Like, there is no middle ground, you know. And personally, Buddha is an ethics professor. He's a philosophy man, and he's a philosopher. He wasn't really a god. He ascended to enlightenment, yes, but he never really reached godhood. He reached nirvana, which is a state of mind that accepts and, you know, fully accepts that life is as it is. C'est la vie, essentially. And we are brought into the world to suffer. Life is suffering, and if you don't believe life is suffering, look at the situation now, right? So anyway, I'm getting off track here. Luca was a great movie. I really, really enjoyed the water, especially because I'm a big fan of water animation. I don't know if I ever brought it up to you guys, but I really enjoyed the water animations. I actually really liked Raya and the Last Dragon as well. I think it was a really enjoyable movie. Yes, the kid part kind of like got me out of the story a bit, suspended my disbelief. Suspension of belief is important, but I mean, that went a little too far. But I mean, it's a Disney movie. I don't know. I think I can forgive it a little bit more, and I'm really happy to see a Southeast Asian inspired movie. This is obviously an Indonesian inspired movie. We have the Nagas, which is essentially dragons. But Nagas effectively weren't the dragons of the West per se. Yes, they were thought of magical beings, bringing water and rain and such, and improving our agriculture, etc. But they were also more, guardians of our beliefs and all of that sake. And in those terms, they really treaded a line, and I think they kind of found a good little nugget of a middle ground. I quite enjoyed it. I mean, yes, there is a little bit of cliche here and there, but I mean, you know, again, it's a Disney movie. Um, On to Cruella. I mean, okay, for Cruella, I didn't really think it was bad per se, but again, I'm not really attached to the old movie, and I think that's really important for people nowadays. Once you're attached to something, you don't really want it to change. For me, it did irk me that she's not a full out bad guy. I do find it stupid that she made friends with her henchmen, and when she goes full on evil, she's like, "Why aren't you on board with my evil plans?" Dude, you already created a persona that they're used to. Of course, they're not gonna be used to this new persona. Like, come on, come on, Cruella. This, that was really dumb. But the other parts, I mean, there were. If I were to rate Cruella, and I'll rate the other movies, but I think Cruella is the most recent one I want to talk about, and as well as Black Widow. But Black Widow isn't as important to me, because I've been really interested to see how it was going to be done, and yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good, but it was also pretty bad. Like, it's very very mixed for me, because you want to go to the middle ground, the anti-hero, whatever, you can do that. But when it's time to go full on evil, and they were going to do that, but they didn't, and I was so irked by that. I mean, I don't know. And by the way, they missed out on killing the villain in the second half of the movie, because I won't spoil it here, but when I saw those moths come up, I thought they were wasps or bees or something, and they were gonna, you know, the villain, you know. Anyway, I really thought that was gonna be like, oh shit, we finally have a lit, like, ending for a villain, but no, we don't. The only, so far, the only, like, one that really, really, really got to be for fastest kill of a villain was Endgame. And even then, I was like, yeah, this is a superhero movie. They're not ever gonna do this again. Disney is never gonna greenlight this again. So, um, and speaking of Endgame, we have Black Widow, which is a prequel, which is, if I'm not mistaken, supposed to take place just after Civil War, moving into Infinity War and then Endgame. So, the after credit scene does hint at possibly a new Avenger. I'm not going to spoil anything here for any movie, so don't expect any spoilers. I don't know if any of you are gonna watch this, or anyone is interested in watching Black Widow, but if you are, just be ready for that. Um, Black Widow, you know, it's practically the Dom memes that are out now. Like, I don't know what happened in the past few days. Like, I'm seeing a lot of of Vin Diesel memes like "you family now," you know, if family comes first and shit like that. Like no one can touch us because we family, you know, that fucking meme. But yeah, this does play on the tropes of a conventional family because they're practically sleeper cell agent sleeper cell agents and multiple agents, the Natalia and her sister. And I'm not spoiling that fact because that's in the fucking trailer. So if you didn't watch the trailer, that's on you, that's not on me. um but yeah, so I don't know. The main protagonist is obviously the Black Widow, but I want to talk a bit about the father figure a bit. I don't feel like he had too many things to do with, just because I think like they didn't really know where to take this character. I thought he was gonna play a bigger part, but he didn't. And that kind of saddened me a little bit. They went back to the original idea of Dreykov, and I don't really remember the Dreykov storyline, to be honest. So when they brought it back up, I'm like, I don't remember this fucking shit. I'm not really a Avengers fanboy. I don't fucking care really. But yeah, it was nice to see Scarlett Johansson kind of signing off and fight one for one final time. Her Black Widow character. Probably gonna have a Hawkeye movie just because they kind of did hint at that, and so, and I'm not really spoiling that because that is in the lineup for Marvel Phase 4 or Phase 5 or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, ratings for the movies. I'm gonna rate Luca first. Luca, I give a 7, a solid 7. It was a good, great movie. Um, on the pasta, damn, that made me hungry. By the way, it was really great scene. um, Raya and the Last Dragon. Oh man, it was kind of Mad Max, honestly. Raya and the Last Dragon. I mean, the whole middle of the movie was shot in like the desert scenes and all that, and I really like the Boone character as well. I know I'm not really talking specifically about movies just because I binge watched all the movies, so maybe I should have watched it separately and made separate reviews, but I don't really care because I think the movies speak for themselves at this point in time because I really just wanted to see what I missed out on, and I did miss out on a lot, to be honest with you. So Raya the Last Dragon I'd rate um well, there were some things I couldn't get past. I mean, Aquafina, she's a good actress, don't get me wrong, but she's not a great voice actress. I mean, there's so many things. There's not many things. There's so many things you can do in acting that you can't really do in voice acting, particularly, and her improv is very hit and miss. So I'm gonna rate it a 6 out of 10. Cruella, oof, Cruella. I didn't like that she kept changing accents. To be honest, I mean, I get that's part of her character, and she's gonna like, oh, this is to accentuate the personality. Which personality would be, in that vein. And I do feel very conflicted because I did watch a video before this talking about Cruella and analyzing the whole women's things in there, but I really did see it a lot in this movie, and it does do some things right for the whole feminism argument, and it just falls flat and other parts for the feminism argument. It's very very conflicted on that part. Emma Stone can't do any wrong for me at the moment because she's quite a gem for me. I mean, like, I think she's really great at actressing. So I don't know. I don't know. It's quite a cliche movie at the end of the day, and I do think that them changing too many elements from the animated movie kind of hinders it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I have to base my judgments basically solely off the movie and not really connecting it to the past material. And this is an adaptation, this is a new movie, this is a remake. So, and I judge all Disney remakes on the same merit, actually. So for me, Beauty and the Beast was just a boring fucking mess, and it was so dark and messy, and that it didn't have to be, because for me, Beauty and the Beast should have been bright and colorful, because that is Beauty and the Beast. Like, okay, you could start dark and gritty and then move on to bright and colorful, but they never really explored the bright and colorful. Whereas in Cruella, it works because her whole life is dark and miserable, and it reminds me of unfortunate events, series of unfortunate events, but it doesn't go all. And so effectively, I'd rate it the same as Raya and the Last Dragon, a 6 out of 10. Black Widow, I technically promised myself I wouldn't watch a Marvel Phase 4 movie, but I just had to see how they would handle the Natasha storyline one last time. Man, it did disappoint though. Yeah, 6 out of 10. I think the only good one so far is Luca, and that's kind of sad. I rated it at 7, and the others a 6. So, I mean, this is all my opinion though, because at the end of the day, you're gonna enjoy what you're gonna enjoy, and I'm gonna enjoy what I enjoy. I really think that for me, Luca is very much a growing up story as well as a self exploration story. And to me, I think that resonates a lot to me. And that's one of the reasons I rated it higher as well. On a southeastern level, I think I would rate Raya just a little bit higher, 6.5 maybe, just because of the depiction of the Nagas, and it was a fine representation of general Southeast Asia. Didn't really come out and say, oh, we're Indonesian, but there is a lot of Indonesian influence I can see, especially from the art design of the stone nagas. You can really tell, it's Indonesian and a bit of Burmese as well, obviously. Um, and yeah, I mean, the most excited I was for, technically it was for Luca, just because I haven't really heard anything much about Luca, so I really wanted to go into that. Same with Soul, by the way. I didn't really hear much about Soul. I think because I've detached myself from social media as well. I'm not really very present anymore, and it's been a little bit great. But I mean, I'm still on Twitter, but I don't really follow people who talk about movies and TV shows that much. I mean, I follow Channel Awesome and other people like that, but I mean, on a personal level, I think Luca is always gonna be very close to my heart. Um, Raya is a close second. Cruella, Black Widow, you can switch the order and ranking. I don't give a shit. But technically, I mean, I'd obviously rate Black Widow a little bit higher than Cruella. I mean, comparing Disney remakes and their animation works still fucking knock it out of the park. So I mean, Pixar still got it with Luca and Raya. I don't know what movies are left in the world for me to review. I mean, there is Quiet Place Part 2, but I'm not really sure whether I want to watch it because that is prequel for Quiet Place, and I kind of really don't like prequels. That's kind of why I don't really like Black Widow a little bit as well. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, stay tuned for more stuff. I mean, I'm still putting up stuff randomly. Obviously, I don't really do the consistent upload anymore. If you ever noticed, guys, but yeah, I mean, I really just wanted to talk about the movies in general because it's been a while since I've really watched a movie and I really enjoyed a movie. And the most I enjoyed was Luca. Second closest Raya. Obviously, I've watched Raya first. Just because I heard stuff about Raya and I hadn't really watched Raya, so you know. Since the theaters are out, obviously I downloaded and streamed them. So, I mean, you can sue me for piracy, but I'm just telling you guys, I didn't watch it with you. But yeah, so that's about it, guys. Stay tuned for more, I guess, on the way. Soon, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I might download Quiet Place Part 2 and see how it is, and maybe I'll talk about it, but I don't really think so. I mean, maybe what is coming out this year? I don't really know anymore. I mean, I've been so out of touch with pop culture. It's crazy. But yeah, that's about it. I don't have anything much to say other than I'm doing so much better because I just closed a chapter of my life I was on still on the fence about 10 years later. I mean, it's so crazy, right? How time flies, but it is what it is, right? Bye.